but I stand strong. Long roads stare at me. Hope the distance sets me free. Ergo. You guys ready to see what happens? I don't know. Let's see what happens, yeah? Take my soul, set it on fire, and I stand still. Ain't no wind gonna blow me down, I drink my swill. And I know I'm drinking too much, and if it kills me, then I'm dead. I ain't got time to lose much. But if I lose to my own head, just let me go. Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today we're just going to be looking at, of course, the great Ethereum hashrate migration to Ergo as scheduled in the great Ethereum hashrate migration Discord. We're going to see how many people are moving over. We got a poll already running, and it's going to be super chill. I'm going to do some questions and answers, so if you guys have any questions and stuff like that, definitely let me know. If you want to hop into the live show audio from the great hashrate migration Discord, you can hop into the waiting room. If you have some insight, that's fine. I might need to get somebody to vet so we don't get too much of a trolley troll and get the stream in trouble, right? And so if we get, I don't know, any of the YouTubers in here, we'll work with them on that. So what is the great Ethereum hashrate migration? A couple weeks ago we started, and the plan was, due to Ethereum moving to proof of stake, some of us GPU miners on the YouTube communities, etc., would start testing hashrate and moving hashrate off of the network in preparation for it, with the intention of seeing how much hash rate we could move, I guess, initially, and then seeing how networks handled, of course, the amount of hash rate moving to them. After the initial test, we found that we did have an effect, however, not by that much. I believe the total was around 200 something terahash, 230, was it? Something like that, if I recall. I probably should have pulled that up before I went live and hit that live button, but you know, sometimes it is what it is. I was up late messing around with more flux. I'm not going to lie. I am doing too many things at once, I think, at this point, but that's okay. The other thing about that, of course, is that we're dependent on people moving. So if you guys have miners that are friends that you can convince to move and take a hit in profitability, that's fine. That would be helpful. That being said, your profitability is not going to be hurt that much, right? Like if we look at the last month, you can see here that like the past 3 days, we've been doing almost nothing on Crazy Pool. $79 one day, $85 another, and $68 yesterday. So it's absolutely just decimated. A lot of that has to do, of course, with the artificial difficulty increase and the reduced fees that are on the Ethereum network due to it not being utilized that much, as well as due to the price of Ethereum kind of tanking down below 1,800 US dollars as of today. So, yeah. It's getting crazy up in here as far as all that goes. We're going to refresh all of these, but I wanted to show you guys profitability on Crazy Pool not doing that good. Now, this is not the right Twitter page, but that's fine. I have all my rigs moved over with 2 that have gone down this morning. We'll go out and check them out. The 2 that are down are essentially, I'll show you guys, an attempt to move to Team Red Miner with the extra config mode of R mode. So right now what I'm trying to essentially do is basically utilize R mode within Team Red Miner for Ergo. So once we get that figured out, there will be a video on the channel. This will obviously impact the 5000 series GPUs the most. It's been extremely helpful on, of course, Ethereum already, but getting it to function on Ergo has caused something to go wrong with the actual miners themselves. So I'll try to go out to the farm and get that functioning. Maybe somebody in chat already has it working and go from there. So it's pretty much where we're at as far as that goes. It's Paul in chat says that he does have some R mode working. Maybe you can help me out with that. I did have a shell pulled up, but it's a moot point because it crashed after I tried to change some things. The pool that I am mining to Ergo on, and remember, look, I'm not going to force anybody to move to a certain coin or anything like that. I get it. But if you're not moving to the same coin, then it kind of defeats the purpose of the migration. So you can promote your own other coins elsewhere. We will be moving to Ethereum Classic. We will be moving to Raven Coin. We will be moving to Flux. These are all in the works for the plans. If you really want to help right now, try to move to the coin that we are testing. And the reason for that is that will increase the network difficulty. That will change the payouts, that will load down the network, and that is why we want to do it. The other note about that is try to spread your hash rate out evenly. So on Ergo here, you can see 37% of the hash rate is on Nano Pool. Pick a different pool. I don't care where you go. Test the ping. Use my guide on how to test pings to individual pools and figure that out. As you can see here, there's hero miners, 2 miners, fly pool. The pool that I specifically picked out was GetBlock. The reason I picked GetBlock is that they're the first pool and the only pool to ever allow individual miners to have a say in a change on the network. And I think that that is extremely valuable. In addition to that, they also have basically some more features coming out today. They are launching subpooling, which allows you to basically create a smart contract and basically have your own pool on top of GetBlock. It's really cool tech for miners, I think. And then they are also allowing miner rewards in Comet, which is a coin or a token, excuse me, on the Ergo blockchain. This is going to be powered, of course, by the auto swapping that is going on specifically. And here's the announcement. That is essentially part of some new tech that's coming out of GitHub that allows miners to basically auto swap to a coin that is on the network. It's basically like a DeFi version of alternative payouts, I suppose. Is the best way to explain it. So if you, for example, want Comet on Ergo, you can basically say, I want to be paid out in the Comet token, and you can get paid out in the Comet token. It's pretty cool. So they're doing a lot for miners that other people haven't done, and I think that they're ahead of the game as far as pretty much anybody that I'm aware of, anybody else that I'm aware of. So that's why I am on specifically GetBlock. But like I said, Definitely make sure you're spreading out the hash rate when we do these, because that's going to be extremely helpful. Ethereum right now, it doesn't look like we've had much of a change on the network hash rate. It's at 1.09 petahash. Network over here saying 1.04. Let's get an updated. 2 miners seems to be a little bit quicker on the update. It does look like it's down to 1.03 petahash since we started the stream. So 0.06 is off of it. You can look at the day, and the dip is starting to happen. Remember, last week we had to check the next day, so Saturday we'll check. This is going to be a 72-hour test, so we will be following up on Sunday at the same time. Is that right? Is that right? Am I going crazy here? That would be 24 hours. No, Monday. Sorry. Monday when we do our next stream, we'll be taking a look at the results. But we will be monitoring it over the weekend. And so definitely make sure you're subscribed to the channel and take a look at that. And the goal is, because essentially on the Ergo difficulty charts, we have to wait for this difficulty to come back up. So the difficulty is actually down right now. Ergo in particular is the most difficult one to test due to essentially the way the difficulty is delayed. And that's why we want to do a 72-hour test. My assumption is we'll probably see something like this bump, right, happen on the network. If we look at the Ergo hash rate, let's go ahead and refresh, see where we're at. We had a huge pump and it looks like they dumped back off. And then we're having another one come back up now. So it's up to 13.47 terahash a second right now. And if we hit the day, there you go. It does look like, as far as our poll goes, 12% are going solo, 88% are going essentially pool. Let's get another poll. Let's just ask what pools you guys are going to. And then I'm just going to put in get block. But then we are also going to add in basically the tops from here. So nano pool. Hero miners and 2 miners, and I think some people were talking about Woolly pool as well, but I think that's pretty much classified as solo pool at this time. So this will be of the 88% which pool you're going to. If you're 2 miners solo, don't vote on it if you don't mind. That way we're looking at what's being pool mined. If you're solo mining, it doesn't really affect this particular issue in general. So there's that. FlexPool doesn't have Ergo to come up, so that's a moot point and completely not the point of what we're doing today. So there you go. I do want to do an article, so I'll get into that while this poll goes in. Inflation won't return to normal until 2024, CBO predicts. Washington, the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office released its forecast for next year and is predicting inflation will persist into next year before receding to normal levels by 2024. The CBO said inflation will persist due to high demand and a restrained supply of goods, services, and labor. It expects inflation to ease throughout 2023 and finally return to the Federal Reserve's goal of 2.3% year over year in 2024. Treasury Assistant Secretary Ben Harris said demand is only part of the story and blamed inflation partially on high profit margins for businesses along with businesses being unprepared for supply chain bottlenecks to ramp up capacity. Quote, the capacity shifts were exacerbated by supply chain pressures and gradual shift to just-in-time inventories in some markets, end quote, Harris wrote in a tweet. Thin inventories, reduced capacity, and supply chain weaknesses hampered ability to meet demands for goods. A normally flexible system became inflexible. Some good news for consumers from the CBO report is that it projects inflation to slow later in the year, with the consumer pricing index dropping to 4.7% by the end of 2022. Americans have been dealing with near record levels of inflation for months as the economy reemerges from a pandemic-induced recession. The Federal Reserve has raised its key rate several times as it tries to cool demand, but consumer spending has remained higher than businesses can provide. In April, retail sales outpaced inflation for a fourth straight month, but spending started to show signs of slowing. Fed Chair Jerome Powell has talked about the difficulty his agency faces in trying to slow demand without tipping the economy into a recession. Some of that may be beyond the Fed's control, as other nations' economies can slump and bring down the U.S., and the war in Ukraine continues to have global impact on prices. CBO economists also expressed concern about the uncertainty global events played on their projections. Geopolitical events, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine, add to the uncertainty of the economic outlook, notably the outlook for inflation, the CBO wrote in its report. Inflation has become a difficult political challenge for President Joe Biden and congressional Democrats. The president has said fighting inflation has become his top domestic priority and has taken some executive measures to cut costs, like dipping into the nation's strategic petroleum reserve to tamp down record high gas prices. The CBO report also said the national debt, currently more than 30 trillion US dollars, is expected to be 110% of the GDP by 2032. The deficit dropped in 2022, but that was mostly attributed to a lack of trillions in pandemic relief spending Congress had enacted over the past 2 years. CBO's projections will also help narrow the prediction for when the U.S. will hit its next debt cliff. Congress increased the debt limit to more than $31 trillion late last year, which was expected to last until the end of December. As the Fed increases interest rates, it will make it more expensive for the federal government to repay its debt. About $8 trillion will go towards paying interest. That is not a healthy budget. That will make inflation worse. That will make interest rates worse. That will slow economic growth, McGinney's said. However, she did say the U.S. economy's tendency for resilience gives her hope. One thing we have seen that gives some hope is that American economy is incredibly resilient, or that it is. There you go. And we have seen the economy itself is able to bounce back more quickly than people would think many times. However, our dangerous fiscal situation may make that more difficult. CBO estimates real GDP will increase 3.1% in the final quarter of this year, driven mostly by consumer spending. After this year, things will get murkier as higher interest rates and less government spending will slow growth to 2.2% next year and 1.5% in 2024. Those projections also came with a caveat. The CBO report is based on data from before sanctions from the U.S. and its allies on Russia fully set in. Quote, we aim for our projections to fall in the middle of the range of likely outcomes. Still, they are subject to considerable uncertainty, in part because of the ongoing pandemic and because of other world events, end quote. CBO Director Philip Swagel told lawmakers in a hearing on Thursday. The timing of this, and the reason I bring this up, is it's interesting timing, because what we're going to see, of course, is this lines up directly with the bear market or the super cycle of cryptocurrency, specifically the halving of Bitcoin that happens every about 4 years. The next one will be in December of 2024. We'll also be getting a new president, potentially, right? I guess Biden can run again, but we will have another presidential race. and we will have essentially the halving of Bitcoin happen at the same time. And then there is a projected supposed recovery from inflation and this recession that we are definitely going into. It's going to be really interesting because one of the things about cryptocurrency that was expected from Bitcoin was a hedge against inflation that hasn't proven out to be true, primarily because of during the last bull run, what we saw was a huge increase in investment from traditional finance, which are treating it such as a tech stock. Now, in my opinion, like I've stated before, Bitcoin should not be traded as a tech stock. But, however, I would say that a majority of the rest of the cryptocurrency market should be considered a tech stock, and even would go so far as to say most of them should be a security, especially in the case of Ethereum. So that's kind of where I sit as far as all of this goes. I kind of wanted to bring it up because I thought it was interesting. There is a prediction that Bitcoin will drop to 8K from Miner D, but he's been wrong in the past a bunch. There was a CoinDesk article surrounding this. Scott Minerd, something like that. I want to say Miner D. I don't know why, but the chief investment officer of Guggenheim Investments, Guggenheim. Anyways, hasn't been shy over the past couple of years about making predictions about the price of Bitcoin. His calls typically made during interviews with financial media outlets, including CNBC and Bloomberg. So basically, all you really need to know about this in general is that the traditional media FUD is on the way. It's happening now. You're going to see dips in the market. I think right now, as we speak, Bitcoin's gone down to 28,000 and Ethereum is continuing to fall. It's gone down another 5% to 1,761 US dollars. Back to, of course, the migration. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if there has been any significant changes. Refreshing, Ethereum went back up to 1.04. Ergo was at 13.47. Now it's up to 14.69 terahash a second. So we're going to give this some time, obviously, to go out. Let's take a look at the poll. What are you mining to? And let's get that poll number in. Which pool are you mining to? 56% say 2 miners. 24% say hero miners. 10% says nano pool. And 8% say get block. That's out of 173 votes. I'm going to pop out the chat. Super chats are never required, always appreciated. First to be read because they are highlighted. And then tagging at Son of a Tech will turn the message orange. And I'll be able to read it. Oh. Happy Dictator says, I won't be able to mine Ergo. My farm isn't effective on it. I don't know why it wouldn't be effective on it if it was effective on ETH. I have a question there. Why not? Man Cave Crypto says, Ask Son of a Tech, do other options too? Fly pool here. There are only so many things that I can add into a poll, unfortunately, which is 4 items. John Bronson says, Ask Son of a Tech, will ETH overclocks work for Ergo? They are pretty, they do translate pretty well. However, there is in the Discord there should be a link. Let me see if it's pinned for everybody. There should be a link to a spreadsheet that will, I'll probably have to find it for you. It's been a while. That has a whole list of all the overclocks from the Ergo team. And it was posted not too long ago, but I'm not seeing it pop up right now as we speak. So, if you get into the Great Ethereum Hashrate Migration Discord, there is essentially an overclocking sheet for you to check out that should be able to get you started. It looks like we do have a caller. Let me see if he wanted to hop in and chat. Did you... on stream. Let's go ahead and continue over here. But ETH overclocks do apply back over pretty easy. The migration is today, Dave. Happy Dictator says my farm is all 20 series except for the 3060 is faster than Ergo on the 2080 Ti. I have my 2080 Ti's on Ergo. I don't know what they're getting right now though. Let me go look. Yeah, they're doing 100 mega hash a second. All right, we're going to pull Chad in from Raptor Nodes. Get his perspective on what's going on. What's up, buddy? It says you're muted, just heads up. Scrolling down. Sweet. No switch after that. So name says Ergo 227 mega hash a second at 174 watts for the 3090. Good work. 274 mega hash a second at 240 watts. That's the max. And 190, 135 watts for the 3080. What do you guys think about these high efficiency settings for these cards? They sound good. Lord Beer says Asavatech 3060 Ti light hash rate Hynix revision 1 memory only gets 130 mega hash a second on Ergo. That doesn't sound bad. Sounds pretty good. Andrew C says, watch your hive on balance getting low. It doesn't really matter. All you got to do is refill it. Know what I mean? And I can just refill from, to be fair, we got 6 workers went offline now. Fun. Okay. Don't know why we had 6 workers, or 4 workers go offline, but we may be headed out to the farm today, I guess. It is what it is. Leave it to the RN Jesus to make my day fun. So typically, all I really have to do is like deposit some stuff to Hive. And fill it up. All right, so those 4 came back online. I think we're just having weird connectivity issues. For whatever reason. All right. Looks like Mr. Raptor hopped back out, so we're not going to worry about it for now. Let's see. Lord Beer says it should be 170 mega hash a second, though. Well, you're also talking about a revision 1 GPU and the light hash rate unlock issue. I haven't messed with the 3060 Ti in a hot minute. I guess I could look and see what mine's at, right? So I think that's on this one. Is it on this one? I'm at 141 mega hash a second right now, and that's just at stock settings. If we overclock the memory, I suppose it would go higher, right? So 2600. I'll mess with it and see. I'll probably crash it at 2600 to be honest with you though. All right. Fearless says, ask Tech, please tell us about Raven Future, please. I have no comments on Raven Future, and I don't care to talk about Raven Coin. You can go find a ton of people that'll tell you all the good news about Raven Coin. Daniel says, at Tech, can you try monitor if your power consumption fluctuated? Mine did, yeah. We went down from 17 kilowatts to 14 or 0.9 kilowatts. So we went down about 3 kilowatts from ETH to Ergo. Jeff says, at Tech, one of my 6600 XT rigs works fine, but on the screen connected to the miner shows all 6 fan RPMs is 0. Using online HiveOS shows the RPM. I reflash HiveOS and still the same. Any idea? Not necessarily, no. Obviously, it sounds like a driver issue, right? Is that only, though, if you switched from ETH to Ergo? Killyfish says, at Tech, I mined ETH Bitcoin on 2 miners straight to my Hivon account. Nice. Knowledge is Power says, at Tech, does awesomeness come naturally for you, or do you have to work at it? I'm not very awesome, so I definitely have to work at it. Thanks for the compliment, though. Jimmy says, ask Tech, does mining Flux require more electric than Ergo? Yes, by a lot. 4EMH says, ask Tech, temps on Ergo are lower than ETH. Temps and power consumption are lower on Ergo than ETH across the board, yes. Ergo is the most efficient algorithm out right now. Chadwick's Racing says, ask Tech, not sure what's going on with voice chat on Discord, but you should be good. All right, let me look. Now, what's up? Hello? Hey. So did you get your cards moved over to Ergo? Oh, I lost them again. And attempt number 3.
Yeah, what? Hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never. Okay, live show. I see what's going on.
Yeah, the live show is a locked show, so like I have to pull you into it. That way, if you start saying craziness, I can just pull you out. Get out of here with your terrible attitude. So did you move over to Ergo?
I moved over last night just in case Hive shit the bed again.
It didn't. So Hive's been working today. Other than weird, it seems like I had a few rigs that were having trouble communicating the API over, I suppose, something like that. But let me make sure people can hear you too. I gotta turn you up. Boom! I think you're gonna be loud enough now.
There's a delay in the live show for me. I'm probably just gonna stop it.
Oh yeah, it's hard. You can't watch it and talk.
It's impossible.
I got them turned up, guys. So tell us what you do, Mr. Chad. Or do you want to go by Chad? I know Chadwick's Racing is your username. And then I know you do Raptor nodes if you want to give us some info on Raptor nodes too. That's cool.
Yeah, sure. I can go by Chad. I don't really care. Chadwick's Racing would be my handle. So if I did play games, don't have time to, because all I do is run a business. I have 2 jobs, full-time job and crypto.
Nice.
I run pretty substantial rig in my basement right now. It's going to be migrated over to my 200 square foot shed that's getting 400 amp service here soon.
Cool.
I'm pretty excited about that. And yes, I run Raptor nodes because I have to. I can't let one provider be completely dominant and centralize all of Raptorium. So
is it just the app.raptornodes.com? Is that right?
Yeah. So basically, it allows people to take their Raptorium and put into what we call a shared node. And when we start a node, you start earning based on your percentage in a node.
Okay, cool. And so you mine Raptorium too?
Not at the moment. I got my CPUs on a shitcoin called Urbis. Um, that it's a spec coin right now, and
What's it called?
based on Urb S Y
Shoot
E.
me a link in Discord and I'll try to pull it up for chat.
Okay.
That essentially you would reduce the power consumption there. Let's see. Make sure you tag @SonOfATech with any questions. Mining Base says @SonOfATech, I was mining on a 3070 Ti. It suddenly stopped and the card is not showing in HiveOS. It's showing malfunction error. A malfunction error in HiveOS I have seen here recently too with the 30 series and light hash rate unlock 100%. I had to reflash one of my HiveOS rigs, but I'm not sure of the actual cause. GoldenEyeForever.com says, @SonOfATech, sorry, this is off topic. Just wondering if at some point you could talk about the possibility of ETH fork, or is that even possible prior to the merge? Another proof of work fork, false hope. False hope. You can't do that now. The difficulty bomb's gone off. So like if you forked it, like the artificial difficulty is just going to keep increasing till it's unmineable, right? It's an exponential artificial increase of difficulty. Jimmy says, @SonOfATech, mining Flux or node Flux? I would never do a node on Flux. Mining Flux, obviously, perfectly fine. Once again, like for me, as far as like nodes go, and it's not financial advice, but for setting up nodes, the problem with node investment is that your revenue is based on a single coin and the performance of that single coin. And then Devil King says, no Raven coin, that's sad, man. Flex giving loads of donations to you, I guess. How about you shut the fuck up, you pussy ass bitch? I'm so tired of you goddamn bitches, dude. So fucking tired of it. Look, man, I talk about Ravencoin. I've told people how to mine it. I've covered the entire project. I've done a WTF is. As far as talking about Flux goes, I've shit on them for having dev-controlled fees. I've talked about their problems and how they're centralized. I've talked about how they're a tech stock and not a fucking coin. So if you want to keep fucking going down that goddamn path, God, fuck, man.
Laughing out loud.
I just can't even do this anymore with you guys. Jesus.
I will not be mining Ravencoin when we switch.
We will be doing a Ravencoin test. And Ravencoin will be a coin that needs to be tested, and one person's actions within the Ravencoin community does not reflect the actions of Ravencoin. Let's make that very clear too. I did forget to press the B button a lot. This one's demonetized and reported for sure. It's fine. We weren't coming in here to make money today. I'm probably wasn't in the mood to go do all this today, to be honest. So what cards did you get moved over to Ergo?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I have a lot of 5700s, and I'm still building out my 1660 Super rig, so I have 6 of those now. So 3.1 gigahash in solo mining on hero miners right now.
Nice. So the 5700s, I'm around 100 megahash a second. What about you?
No, I'm not getting that. I'm getting 91 on most of them, but I have my tune kind of spec down a little bit.
Nice. I'm at like 100 mega hash a second, but I haven't gotten R mode working. Have you got R mode working?
It's turned on. I don't think it's doing anything.
I can't get it working.
You got to go into your flight sheet and specify what is it, 0.10 or 0. Whatever it is.
I have, yeah. So I showed the flight sheet earlier. Now the rigs are offline. They just shut down. They won't run. But
Yeah. It's a nightmare running a farm with GPUs.
so on the flight sheet, right in the miner config, what I have is essentially kernel VM mode equals RR. You're saying I need to add something different?
Go if you don't have it selected on the flight sheet. Instead of saying latest version, specify the version. That's what fixed most of mine.
So you have to specify the version of 0.1 and then put the extra config arguments in?
That's what I'm doing, and all my rigs are working fine now.
I'll
It'll be
update it.
interesting.
I have to go out to the farm and actually like manually go mess with it.
Yeah. I had one of my big rigs offline this morning for 3 hours. And I wasn't home. That's the one you don't want offline, the big rig.
Paul says $5 super chat for the F-bomb fund. Thanks. Yeah, I screwed that up. Look, man, I haven't popped in a long time, but I don't know. It is what it is. Kazuma, thanks for the €5. Says, ask Scientific, what do you think of Cortex? Is it good? Doing good? Cortex we talked about before. I think that like with the AI, that's the AI one, right? I don't want to get it mixed up with one of them is China, right? Well, which is Conflux, I think. Conflux is the Chinese coin, right? Am I right on that? And then Cortex is the AI one. This is how I think about projects in my head. I try to correlate them to the one thing that I can remember about them. Cortex is the AI on the blockchain. And if we're talking about AI on the blockchain, I would lean more towards hoping that proof of useful work from Flux enables that. I think that's the best bet as far as that goes. We have Vega in the chat. What's up, Vega?
Not much, man. Just eating some popcorn, listen to you.
Some popcorn, listen to me. Lose my shit over here.
I was laughing so hard, bro. I was laughing so hard.
It
so
is
I moved.
what it is. At least it's entertaining. What'd you move?
I moved about 1.5 over. I'm still having some issues as well with Team Red Miner on the AMD rig, and then one of my Octominer just went down.
Okay. After you made the switch?
Yeah, so I'm playing around, working, training a new employee, and then listening to you guys at the same time. So I got to get XSF4 up and running, and then my AMD rig, which is XSF3, up and running. So I only got one rig on Ergo right now, so I got to stabilize the other two.
Nice.
What was that? Somebody said, what was that? Raptor Node, you were saying something about an extra argument?
The extra...
No extra argument. It was just specifying the newest version instead of saying the latest.
But if you don't specify the extra argument, then it won't work. It'll
Also
just be
true.
mining as it'll... Well, the R mode won't work.
Okay.
So there's an additional argument you have to use to get R mode working. And I know that from just doing it on ETH, which I had it functioning on ETH, but I couldn't get it functioning on Ergo yet. But I may clearly I probably have to clear out the overclocks and get more conservative on the overclocks. Because I think underclocks really is the problem, right? So the underclock on specifically the Ethereum was like 675 millivolts, I think, which dropped the 5700s down from 90 to 100 watts to 75 watts or something like that. But
you're doing good. Like
I can't.
I can get my millivolts down to 660 and 670 on most of my 570s.
Or the 5700s, you mean?
Yeah, or sorry, 5700s, yeah.
Yeah. And then your wattage is around like 70 to 75, right?
No, I'm not getting anywhere near what you're doing at 80s and 90s.
Huh.
Ah,
I
or you're
wonder.
on
Did you take down the voltage on the memory as well? Because you can take the voltage on the memory down too.
no, I have not.
So let me pull this up. I believe.
I'm
So
at
with
1300.
R mode, the rig's down right now, but on R mode, you can take the memory voltage down to 800 from like 8. I think it's like 825 without R mode. With R mode, you can take the memory voltages down to 800 and 1300 respectively. So your VDDCI down to 800 and your MVDD down to 1300.
I'm there already on those voltages.
Okay, nice.
What about the memory controller voltage? You guys mess with that at all or no?
I think that's the VDC.
Yeah.
VDDCI.
So memory controller voltage down to 800 millivolts.
Okay.
And then your memory voltage down to 1300. So I have it pulled up on the screen now. So typically, if you don't have R mode on a 5700, your core clock is at like 1350, 1340, somewhere around there. Your core voltage is around 740. Your memory controller voltage is at 825. Your memory clock still stays around between 880 and 900. Memory voltage is usually at 1325. So in the case of running R mode, you're able to turn pretty much all of that down. So you can take your core clock down to like 1025 without dropping hash rate, your core voltage down to 665 millivolts from the 740, memory voltage down from the 825 to 800, and then your memory voltage down from 1325 to 1300. And if you get all of that locked in, what I was seeing on all these cards was like 55 to 56 mega hash a second at 70 to 75 watts. Snarks Domain, thanks for the 20 Canadian. That Canadian dollar. Some fiat for the kilowatts. Thank you, good sir.
Honestly, the update came in right on time for me, living here in Florida. Like trying to get these cards, especially the 5700 stable here in a hot environment, especially in an enclosed grow tent, was not fun. Crashing at least once every 3 days. The max I got was like 1 week out of it. Ever since R mode, it's cooler, it's more stable, and I haven't crashed since.
Yeah, R mode has resolved pretty much all of my heat issues and my power consumption. I think we were sitting at like 20 kilowatts on the farm, and as I started applying this, we were down to like 17. Right now, I'm down to 14.9, but 2 rigs are offline. And I want to get R mode working for Ergo. Paul says, and I don't know, he had a message. He said, check on the CLI for your R mode. D message. Just grep the fragment. Okay. I'll copy this out. Thank you, good sir.
That's so strange. My 5700s are only doing like 91 mega hashes, and you guys are getting over 100 on yours, and I got the same settings applied.
Silicon lottery. I'm joking.
Shit.
So wait, what same settings do you have applied?
So I just took my core down to 1025 like you had.
Okay.
And then my memory is at anywhere between 890 and 912.
But so these settings were ETH. And I don't have R mode functioning. So the cards that are running, so the 5700s that are running on Ergo right now, right? They are at the old ETH settings. I've gotten none working on R mode. So they are the 1350 core, 740 core voltage, 825 memory controller voltage, like the 900, 880 to 900 on the memory, 1325 memory voltage, and that is resulting in around 104 to 105 mega hash a second.
Interesting.
No R mode applied. Ted Park, thanks for the $20 Canadian. Says Son of a Tech, slight power use reduction from about 5 kilowatts to 4.9 kilowatts, switching stuff from ETH to Ergo. Nice.
So what pool do you guys go to? Are you still on 2 miners, Nano Pool, Hero Miners?
I am on GetBlock.
Hero miners here.
Chat, throw your response in.
We had so we did do a poll already. Let me pull it up for you guys. Where's the poll? Is there a way to look at old polls? Or I just gotta scroll up. I forgot the results already. 2 miners, 56% of people are saying they went to 2 miners, 24% to Hero Miners, 10% to Nano Pool, and 8% to GetBlock. But that also doesn't include like other ones, right? Because I can only do a poll for up to 4. So, but by and large, it looks like 2 miners. Bojangles, thanks for the $5 super chat.
Oh, I love Bojangles. Now you want me, man? Now I want some Bojangles. Thanks.
B. Kelly says, Ask Simon Tech, how much of a difference does 240/11? I don't understand the question. Oh, over difference between 240 and 120 make on power usage? I don't actually know at the wall. I haven't measured the 5700 XTs at the wall with 240. That being said, a very kind viewer sent some honey and a I guess one of the, what are they called? Like the 240 boxes. Anyways, I have a way to measure it now, so we'll work on it. But I couldn't tell you right off the bat. I do know that 240 just is going to be more efficient, especially with platinum rated power supplies, right? So there's that.
And doesn't it keep the heat down too?
I don't know if it keeps the heat down. I mean, just by nature of keeping the power consumption down, yes. But I don't know how much of a measurable difference you could make on that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
In theory, because you're using less power, you will have less heat. How much of an influence that has, I don't know. Jason King says, Ask Simon Tech, hey dude, how's the community interest in the Hashrate merge this time around compared to the original? It's much lower from what I can tell, right? So, do we have that pulled up here? Yeah, so Ethereum Hashrate went down to about 1.03 when we started this morning, and it's already back up to 1.06. So a majority of people are staying on Ethereum, and the Ergo hash rate is just at up from 11 terahash to 14 terahash. So I'd say, we'll give it over the weekend. Obviously, that's the plan, and then we'll have to re-up and see on Monday where everything ends up and settles out. But unfortunately, like from my perspective, it doesn't seem like we were able to really make too much of an effect on pretty much anything, which is disappointing, obviously. Naturally it's going to happen, though. So, if you are participating, you're getting used to the overclocks, you're ready to go on different algorithms and so on, you're going to be ahead of the curve at least. So from a personal standpoint, I think that's good. That being said, I don't think that we've had an effect, and I think it's obviously much lower this time. I think when we did it, the first time we did have about 1,000 viewers in here. So if we also gauged it off of viewership interest, today we are down to 350 from, so that's 60% of the people not watching either, which means I think because of the disappointing results, I think a lot of people do feel defeated as far as this goes. I think that I can feel that as well too. So like if we're being like completely honest and transparent about it, it's disappointing. Unfortunately, it's hard to get a whole bunch of people to participate, especially in an industry where, the profitability is king, revenue is king, and I get it. That's just the nature of the beast. I think that it's a little short-sighted because you're going to just try to be profitable on something that is continuing to go down in profitability and is probably going to go away. I mean, clearly going to go away, right? So, yeah.
I want to talk to you about something, actually.
Yeah.
You did a video last night about the miner that's messing with the devs on the Robson testnet.
Right.
And you mentioned a good point, and we talked about this, you and I, about regarding how we feel that the ASICs are going to continue to mine until it can no longer be mined, which is going to help secure that network, preventing the situation we see on the test net from happening on the main net, right? Because there's they have so much hash power,
right?
That the GPU miners, even if we all left, wouldn't really cause an issue, in my opinion. But I think there are some security concerns that BBT or Michael is going to talk about in a live stream later this week.
Okay. I had to turn you down. Kevin, thanks for letting me know. I just turned him down a little bit. So if we're talking here's the thing, like, first of all, this specific attack, right, isn't one that would be available to anybody on mainnet, right? Like, we've pretty much figured that out, right?
Right.
The attack that I would say is more viable is just the natural, it's going to be the natural order that is going to happen to them regardless. That, like, I don't think we have to do anything to watch happen, which is revenue drops and miners stop dropping, right? Like, or start dropping. Like, that's naturally going to happen. Like, we already see what difficulties at an all-time high. Let me pull that up. So, yeah, so I had the Ethereum difficulty chart up. It's already up to 14.69. It's continuing to rise. The block times are now averaging over 14 seconds. So that's going to continue to happen. But as it gets closer and closer to not being profitable compared to other options, the GPU miners will be the first to hop off, right? Like, that's going to happen first. So if we did like a, I don't know, whatever, like a 3900 or 3090, there we go. So what are we looking at on what to mine, right? Ethereum profitability today is down to $1.82 a day after revenue on a 3090.
$1,000 graphics card.
That's atrocious. Like, and that is within, that's within firepower of pretty much all the other coins, right? So you got Conflux at $1.47 a day. You got, we don't even have Zelhash updated or Kapow. Kapow's like what? What's Kapow? Can you help me?
Kapow's Ravencoin, I thought.
No, but what's the hash rate? I know it has to get corrected.
Oh, I don't know.
Is it 60? Now I need the Ravencoin community. Can you guys... I wasn't attacking you guys. Can you guys tell me what the 3090 so we can look at this realistically? 60, that's right. Okay, that's what I thought. So let's fix that. Oop, that's ProgPal. Oops, 60 there. Whatever. 33, don't care. And Firo is 60. So we'll do 60. Calculate that out. All right. So Conflux is $1.47 a day after power, but this also changes as power goes up too. But revenue alone, I guess, is what we want to look at. $2.59 a day in revenue on Ethereum. Conflux $2.27 a day. Ycash $2.23. Ravencoin $2.18. Firo $2.10. Cortex $2.04. Ethereum Classic $1.89. Where they get in trouble is when it gets really close to Ethereum Classic. Right? But we're not even close to this exponential increase in difficulty yet. Like, it's going off and it's already getting bad, right? So here shortly, I mean, I'd say we're at the end of May and we're going into June. And through June, by July 15th, we have 20-second block times. Is that right? Something like that?
Yeah, around 21 seconds.
Provided the hash rate remains the same. But through June is when the artificial, through this next month is when we start seeing the difficulty bomb affect profitability. And it's already affecting it to the point, and ETH has already dipped down low enough to where it's within firing range of GPUs. So within June, I would say that we will see a ton of miners start hopping off, right? So I think that we will start seeing a ton of GPU miners hopping off. And then once Ethereum revenue gets close to Ethereum Classic revenue is when we'll start seeing, I think, at least some of the ASICs, like the people that have bought the ASICs, they're running them from their homes or a smaller farm, a smaller facility. You'll start seeing them hop to Ethereum Classic, right? Just naturally. I think that however many, the large firms that are, in my opinion, probably working directly with the Ethereum Foundation, they're just going to mine it to the end to secure the network, probably for some sort of payoff or whatever it is, right? I don't know what that payoff would be necessarily. More than likely just being able to stake, right? But the tests, as far as what we're doing, seems to be extremely difficult. Ethereum's down another 4%, 1769. Network difficulty all-time high. .04 petahash a second on Ethereum. So no real changes here. It's pretty much where
right.
we're at.
Did you see Ergo's hash rate? It looks like a farm switched off before we got on.
Look more like rented hash rate to me.
Is that what it is? Yeah, right. With Nice Hash Marketplace, which is what messed us up last test too.
It went up to 17 terahash and then dropped back off.
When I switched over last night to Hero Miners, the solo pool got up to a terahash.
Derek Becker is saying at Son of a Tech, ETH and ETH Classic are 0.0021 away from being the same profitability. Yeah, no, I mean, once that happens, that's the one that gets interesting, is when Ethereum Classic becomes more profitable than ETH, which I think will happen in June. Yeah? Sometime in June. However, then we'll start seeing how hard and how bad the Ethereum Classic network starts getting hit by ASICs. And it'll tank the profitability on Ethereum Classic. Patrick says, "Ask Tech Raven, you can estimate as half of ETH for NVIDIA cards and a third on most AMD cards." You mean for hash rate? Yeah. Raven, so I don't know. I mean, Ethereum Classic's the only one we have to watch, I think, as far as all this goes. All right, so we are getting AAG says Tech bomb to be delayed 2 months, merge to be slightly delayed. They target 13-second blocks until August 18th when the merge happens. So it sounds like to me the all core devs call just finished up. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And we have a delay. Let's check Twitter.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing, pulling Twitter up.
Give me old Timmy, boy.
Where's the B coast?
He's not tweeted yet.
He's pondering. He's getting his thoughts together.
How do we approach this? So if that's true, coming from chat, I don't see the dev call. Where was the dev call? Was the all-core dev call somewhere else? Or I thought it was not happening till next week.
I don't think it was one of those meetings. I think it was one of the what's going on right now with the testnet calls not publicly available.
Babelfish is solo mining on his own Ergo node. Congratulations.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, thanks, Crypto Mikkel. Oh, I tried to open it and something went wrong.
That's because you're in YouTube Studio. It does that. All right. So, yeah, let's see here. Hour, 45 minutes, usual. All right. We got to get Micah back on the show, man. I haven't talked to Micah in a minute. I hope you're doing good if you watch this, bud.
There we go. What'd you say? What time is it at?
I didn't say a time yet. I'm skimming through.
Okay. No comments. Trying to pull the chat up and see where they... Oh, they don't do live chat replays, do they? Beacon chain is so timing sensitive. A short delay isn't a big problem. Scam forks won't have the economic value or incentives of the main chain. We need to deliver the merge and should do so under a stable and predictable block time for the terminal total difficulty.
Lucas? Okay, just to have a comment maybe on Peter, that what Peter said, that in my opinion a bit what shows the readiness are hive tests.
Shit, man, that's an hour and 43 minutes to watch all that.
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks after decision, because we need to.
I'm listening. Hang on, what?
With that, then it will be 4 or 5 weeks from now when we would.
I rely on you guys to tell me about
It
this
seems, yeah, I'm going to listen to it later, guys, but from what I read in the chat, Like the argument is that they're worried about pushing the bomb back now is going to result in scam forks springing up. Scam forks.
I think I heard that comment, but they said it's not going to be very valuable for anyone to do that.
Is that they said it wouldn't be valuable for it?
Something like
But
that.
they're using the term scam forks when we know what that really means, right? Like that's not a scam fork. They're worried about miners forking it and having a proof of work version.
If there's that many ASICs on the network, I can't see how that's even possible.
Because if they delay it, yeah, I don't see it being possible. Like what we're doing right now. Like there's not enough people to do that.
I want to go back to your comments earlier. You were saying that people kind of got discouraged the last migration, and unfortunately they shouldn't be. But maybe that's why you're not seeing such a big move this time, for sure.
Yeah, I think it was discouraging. I think that is true.
Well, people, it's not. I don't want to use the wrong term here. It's not pointless, but they feel like a lot of the sentiment is they feel it's pointless to try anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and so they're not giving up. They're just not participating.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I was about to say, don't worry about it. I already f***ed this whole show up. you can, we can say whatever. The veil has broken.
It's also additional hassle to prepare the release for the bomb delay.
So does that mean we can talk about doing live streams on Rumble instead of YouTube?
No. No.
You can curse. You just can't say another platform name.
Oh, oops. Sorry. Oh, you already demonetized, right?
Nah, we're still monetized. We're good.
See.
We'll
The
just
algorithm's gotta find it.
unlist the video immediately after this, and we'll be fine.
It's
I'll
not like
say-
a Donald Trump interview where they've got the ban button, ready to hit
Hey,
it.
man, what are you trying to do to this stream?
Dude,
God,
he's trying to break it, bro.
shut up, bro. Come on, kick him out. Oh my God. You said two of the biggest like no-nos for the algorithm.
Now they're listening to you.
Now they are listening.
Son of a gun. You gonna start talking about the Illuminati next? What's
No. I just like I think it's so hilarious, all this, the C word.
My gosh. Brian Nichols says, what's your favorite Gears? Gears 2 is my favorite. Simon says, at Simon Tech, hey, I'm Matt. Turning off my rig soon, 700 mega hash. Profit is down to $1 or €1 after electric. 700 mega hash a second's down to $1 or €1. €1 after electric now? Derek Baker says, at Son of a Tech, they were talking about delaying the bomb to when the merge happens so they have short blocks and a stable network for the merge to start on and bomb everyone off mainnet. Yeah, that makes sense. Paul says, at Son of a Tech, scam forks like the one they're running off of Ethereum Classic. Yeah, they don't want another Ethereum Classic, right? I mean, which makes sense. But I get your joke too. Don't worry. You're saying, Ethereum. The argument for the uninitiated is that Ethereum Classic is the original. Well, it is the original chain. It's not an argument. I guess that would be a fact, right?
Yeah, because code is law and they kept it going.
Yeah. So that's what Paul is saying. AAG says, as I'm take, they didn't approve the delay yet as there were no EIPs on the table, but they deferred the devs asking for a delay to copy the previous delay EIP and put it up for the next meeting. I think they have to delay, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't, okay. So I know that Vitalik said that he'd be fine with block times between 25 and 30 seconds, right? But there's a couple things that are going on that are interesting, right? If you are going to allow it to go to 25 to 30 seconds, and I'm just speaking hypothetically here, and I don't condone any of this movement, and everybody should be completely aware that even if I wanted to do anything hash rate wise, just from our tests for these hash rate migration tests, it would be extremely difficult to do. But they're seeing miners start to get upset, clearly with the miner that was trolling the testnet yesterday, right? So if you're sitting there and thinking about that from their perspective, and then you think, okay, is there a possibility that miners just start shutting off all their rigs in protest, right? Not even just miners moving off naturally, like we were talking about earlier, but like, let's say one massive just shut off of a bunch of Ethereum ASICs. You can't let the block times get high or even close to dangerously high, because if you do get to that 25 to 30 second block time range and miners want to hurt the network, they can just turn it off, and those just exponentially increase within seconds, right? Because when you saw the effect in the reverse on the testnet, it accelerated it from a week out to 15 hours out, right?
Right.
If you have block times already over 20 seconds in, like, let's say July 15th, you got 2 weeks left before the merge. Like, let's say they hit the exact time of August 3rd or whatever, right? Like, let's say they're like on point, it's early August. They hit 20-second block times July 15th or whatever it is, 17-second block times. Doesn't really matter. Pretty high block times, right? Then some large miner is like, you know what? They're obviously doing it. I'm sick of this. I'm turning my stuff off, right? You lose a ton of hash rate, and then those times start increasing exponentially due to the bomb, right? If the bomb's not in place, then it's not an exponential problem. Am I thinking about that correctly? Does that make sense?
Feels to me.
I mean, also consequently, they'll be forced to do the merge earlier than what they would like to do, and that could be some potential issues.
Well, they would have to do it either way. They have to do it earlier, right?
Right.
So then there's not a ton of hash rate. So in the example we saw yesterday, if somebody started doubling the hash rate, right, on mainnet, then that basically accelerates the time because the blocks get faster, right? So the blocks get faster. But the inverse of that is that you lose hash rate and the block times get slower and the network becomes unstable and unusable, right? Like those are the two. I don't want to call them attack vectors. Those are the two concerns, right? Other than
crippling the network a little bit.
They are talking about. It's weird in the chat that I'm reading over here that they're talking about a worry of a fork, which means they do have a concern that there's at least 50% of a potential of 50% of the network, 51% of the network wanting to fork Ethereum if they took the bomb out. So, because I've talked about this before, like the hard part is if they reset the bomb, like let's say they delay the bomb. If they delay the bomb right now, they stop it, right? That's essentially what happens. Like the bomb gets turned off, it gets delayed, and then miners have a chance to fork the network. And that's what they're worried about, right?
Well, if they're worried about that, then there may be some internal strife between the ASIC people that signed off on the merge and them. Because the GPU miners would need the help of a decent amount of ASIC farms to push that to make that happen if they really are worried about that.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's weird because if you read in the chat, it looks like that's a worry that they actually have.
they would have a better understanding, or they would know the actual numbers. Like, we don't know the numbers. We just speculated around EIP 1559, and then with our test, we identified that we are a lot. The GPU miners, when I say we are a lot less, is a lot less the hash rate compared to ASICs. So it's more like 70-30 or even 75-25. GPU miners 25, ASICs 75. So if they are worried, all we need is another 25, maybe 26% technically.
So it says it right here. It says pushing the bomb back now is going to either unnecessarily delay it or make it easier for scam forks to spring up. Let's correct the term. They're worried about a fork. That's what they're worried about. If they delay the bomb, and I don't know if Evan's he's just a chatter, I believe. Let me see if is he on the dev team at all? I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it seems like that was what. Yeah, he is Evan Van Ness.
What's
That's
your
who it is.
timestamp that you're on?
Like 112 or 112:06. Yeah. So in the chat, Evan Van Ness, who's in the dev call, says essentially like pushing it back is sketchy because of a fork. So that does mean they're scared of a fork. If they delayed the bomb.
Also looks like they're gonna move Bellatrix up in the timeline. I need to listen to this. Like, once we get off the call and I get back to doing some other work, I'm going to listen to this while I'm doing that. Try to catch up.
Cool. Well, I'm going to call it today because I'm going to go to jiu-jitsu. I'll be obviously making a video on the dev call this afternoon. So tune back in for that today, guys. As far as Ergo difficulty has dipped today, it looks like. So we've dipped down to 1.59 for those of you that switched over. That's good news. Let's see. Ethereum difficulty has dipped as well, but it's still pretty high. It's above 14. And then Ergo hash rate has gone up to 15 terahash a second. Good job, guys. Looking for group. Cool. And then, and that I don't think like this spike earlier, like we were talking about, we think it's rented hash rate. And then we have the Ethereum hash rate. Let's refresh here. Is down to 1.02 petahash a second. It's working. We're doing something.
We're doing a thing.
We're doing something. So don't worry. I know it got a little crazy here. Got a little dark. But we have to be honest and transparent about how it's looking, right? So it is what it is. I hope to see this drop below 1 petahash. I think if we dropped down to 940, that would be cool. And if that, if we snag more hash rate onto Ergo, that's going to be necessary. I really want to see how the network responds. What's the highest hash rate that Ergo has had before, ever? 40?
17? No, hang on.
40 terahash.
Was it 40? 42?
Yeah. So if we could hit 40 terahash, I don't know if that's possible, but if we could hit 40 terahash, that would be dope.
You're setting a high bar there, sir.
Wasn't that when they're like over $10 a coin when that happened?
Yeah, they were really, it was really expensive.
Yeah.
Ethereum Classic hash rate's up too, but just to 4.19 terahash a second. All right, boys. Hit the like, hit the comment, hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so that you're notified when we go live and make content. Now that Chad and myself have destroyed the algorithm for the channel, I started it, but Chad had to come in here and start talking about alternative media, and
The T word.
and
The T word, the R word, the C
and
word.
alternative United States presidents. Going back to an episode of The Simpsons. All right, I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Good luck. Have fun in your training. I'll talk to you guys later. Hit me up if you need anything.
Peace.
Later.